Hello, I'm Anisa Hassan, and welcome to my first podcast, Diary of a Matchmaker, where I'll be shedding light on how best to navigate the dating world, avoid pitfalls, and create a love story that really matters. Well, I've been a professional matchmaker for the last 20 years, and a lot of you have been asking me, how did you get started? Why do I choose this professional matchmaking as something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Many of you may have known me from my broadcasting days. That was pre-baby days. And when I started becoming a mother, my priorities changed, and I decided that the broadcasting world was not something that I was keen to continue doing. So what happened is I decided to reprioritize, as I had also given birth to a baby that was premature back in the year 2001. When I decided to leave the broadcasting world, many people thought that I was going nuts. Why would you want to leave a career that had all the glitz, glamour, pomp and pageantry? I was in the limelight. People recognized me. And even my parents thought that I was creating a career suicide by deciding to leave broadcasting. But I knew my calling was doing something else, something that really matters, something that can create a difference in someone's lives. And that's how I decided that, moving from broadcasting to matchmaking was not that different, because I was still front and center asking questions, being interested, genuinely interested in people, and trying to see how best I can help them find their lifetime partner. So back in 2004, I started this career, and I have never looked back. It was something that I am very excited to wake up to. Even 20 years on, I still find a lot of joy in waking up and going to work first thing in the morning, knowing that somebody needs to be helped. Somebody needs to share their journey with me, and I can also help them navigate the dating world, which can be very treacherous for a lot of people. So 20 years on, what has changed, right? A lot of things has changed when it comes to dating. When I first started in 2004, there wasn't anything close to online dating. There were personals, that you take up on newspapers, but not online dating. So I was very happy doing what I did, because people came to me, told me what they're looking for in a partner, and then I started working with the preferences or the requirements that they have set out for me. And right around 2010, that's when the advent of online dating started coming forward. And I knew that was something that was going to be very revolutionary, because people were deciding to take their personal lives personal, and they decide who it is that they are looking for. And everybody was looking at how best to put up nice pictures so that they can be selected as a potential life partner. Whereas when I was doing it in the past, it was more about understanding a person's character, understanding the journey that they have been on, and based on what they have gone through, I will look at the values, the interests, the personality that would make another person be interested in them. But when online dating came about, people started taking things into their own hands, and how they have been selecting potential life partners since then has been based on pictures alone, So, it's all about marketing. It's how you package yourself so that you can be picked, right? And even much later, that's when filters start coming about, right? So, when you have certain imperfections on your body or on your face, you can erase them away, and people think that, you are this perfect package. And so that's when people start getting more and more interested in getting to know somebody just based on the looks alone. And to me, that's a very, very scary prospect of how you choose a life partner. So I had to I had to go with the flow, right? Because there was technology. There was nothing I can do to stop technology. And I knew that if I do not change the way I do my business, I would be drowned by all these technological advances. So I wasn't really competing with online dating. Rather, I was going to be complementing what online dating cannot do. And that is to really, really connect with somebody through their heart, right? You don't know a person's journey by just looking at their picture. You don't know the difficulties, the challenges, the journey as from a child to an adulthood. The traumas that they've been through. So I decided that was where I was gonna develop my niche. I was gonna be personal. I was gonna be genuine. I was going to be authentic in the questions that I ask so that people feel comfortable telling me about, what they've been through. Because everybody has a story, right? And that's what interests me as a journalist, as a trained journalist. Stories always interest me. And so when people tell me their stories, so apart from how they look, I now know at a deep level who they are as an individual. What are their fears? What are their insecurities? What are their doubts, and how can I make them feel better about themselves? I don't think technology can do that, right? AI can do so much. Artificial intelligence, that's what it is. It's artificial. But what we want is a genuine connection, right? We don't want anything artificial when it comes to looking for a life partner. So I knew that I had a niche. I knew that I can contribute in my own way. I knew that people want to tell their story if you ask them the right question. So that's where I've been focusing my attention amidst the flurry of all the online dating apps that have come up. I don't think I have lost the game at all. In fact, with all the recent or rampant scams, romance scams that have been happening online, more and more people are coming to me because there's that certain level of safety, security, and authenticity. I meet them face to face. So how can they be telling me something that they're not, right? So when they come to me, there is that filtering, verification, authenticity mechanism that I put in place so people feel safer sharing their life's journey with a matchmaker. Of course, the younger ones would still want to do it on their own, would still want to find their life partner based on their own parameters, variables. But I feel that there is also a large number of people who feel very unsafe trying to find a life partner online. And that's why they feel that if they come to me and if I really understand them, I can advocate for them. I can look out for possibilities for them. I can weed out the people who are not possible for them and only present them with ideas, suggestions, recommendations that I know would fit into their life story and hopefully their love story. So, welcome back to my second segment of this podcast. A lot of people also have been asking me what has changed in terms of how I do business as a matchmaker. The answer is a lot in the 20 years, right? Before, I was just looking out for potential life partners, taking instructions from clients, asking them about their preferences, and then present them with possibilities. Of course, I have a critical mass of people. I've been serving more than 10,000 clients in this last 20 years, and more than 3/4 of them, I was the one personally interviewing these clients. So what has changed? I have gone from just merely taking instructions to really asking them very, very personal questions like, how do you learn about relationship? Who's your role model when it comes to relationship? Because nobody teaches us how to do relationship, right? It is something that we learn from watching our parents, whether rightly or wrongly, whether we see a loving partnership between our parents. We see perhaps our siblings do relationship if we are privileged enough to be the younger one and looking up to our sisters and brothers do their relationship. Or sometimes we also ask about or we look into our friends' dynamic, when it comes to them having their relationship with their partner. So nobody really teaches us the ABCs of what it takes to do a healthy relationship. We can all do relationship, but do we do a healthy relationship? So that's the question that I start asking my clients every time they say that, help me look for a potential life partner. I said, okay, so who's your role model? What do you see? When it comes to looking for a life partner, when you think of a man, okay, if she's a lady, when you think of a man, what does it bring to you, right? So if it gives me an insight into their thinking. So sometimes they start with, I love being with a man who is somebody that I can look up to, somebody I can respect. And I said, why do you say that? Oh, it's because my dad is somebody that I can look up to. He's very educated. He loves my mom. He takes care of the family. He's a provider. So those are the qualities that I look up to in a man. So I would know that she would have come from a background that looked at men in a positive light, right? As compared to, what do you think of men? Oh, men, oh my goodness. They are scumbags. They are people who just leave. They are cheaters and liars. They betray me. They've hurt me. They have, done great lengths to make me not believe in love, And so I know the premise of where she's operating from. So that would mean I have a lot of work to do when it comes to ladies or women who may have a less than favorable perception of men, right? And same thing for men, I would ask the same thing. How do you view women when it comes to finding a life partner? So it's been tough. They're all gold diggers. It's been tough because I can't find, a woman who would be submissive. It's tough in Singapore because all the women are very materialistic. So they make very sweeping statements about how they view women. And so, not that I agree with them, but it gives me an insight into what they're thinking. So everybody has a different journey. It can be compounded by the trauma that they experienced when they were young, or it could also be compounded by the journey that they were on, depending on whether they've been single, never been married, or they have been divorced and it was a bitter divorce, depending on whether it was coming from a bitter, acrimonious divorce, or whether they have parted ways in a very friendly manner. So sometimes when it comes to men also, it's not that only the women have problem. Men also have gone through a certain journey, and they may also not have a very good role model in their fathers, where they grew up in a single parent family, or and their mothers speak very poorly of their fathers, and therefore it forms a conditioning in them that men are just absentee fathers, or if they are around and they are not good enough, they just leave, right? So there's that fear of there's that abandonment issue that they have experienced in the past. So how I have done business or how I have done matchmaking is I take great interest in asking them about their childhood, their family, how they grew up, whether they have good relationship with mom and dad. Are mom and dad still together? It makes an impact in how they view relationship. So when I take great interest in their life stories, it gives me a whole lot of perspective in terms of how I can help them with their journey. And so instead of saying, here's a man or here's a woman, here's another one, I would say, hey, look, do you want to learn more about yourself? Would it be better if you learn about learn about yourself, right? About your self-concept, about your own identity, about your self-worth, whether men or women. I think it's really important to not start the relationship journey by just saying or writing a laundry list of what do you want in a partner. Rather, ask yourself, what kind of a partner am I? How am I showing up in a relationship? If I were to be in a relationship, how do I make myself irreplaceable so that I do not have to go through what my parents have gone through, my friends have gone through, or my siblings have gone through? You want to make a love story that is unique to you. It's not based on any other person's love story or love's journey. So I begin with that. And I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable when I start asking, what do you bring to the table that makes you irreplaceable? They can't answer me. And that's when our journey gets very interesting. I do not just tell them what to do or who to meet. I coach them to be better about identifying the core values that they represent as an individual. And when they know themselves, that's the best thing that they can do, right? So they are going into a relationship not seeking external validation from anybody. They go into a relationship knowing who they are, what they want, and they know that, for a woman, they want to feel safe in a relationship, right? They want to feel safe and secure in a relationship. So what does it take to make herself feel safe and secure? And what does it take for a man to be with a woman who can respect them, who can make them feel that they can lead a relationship, right? You don't want to be in a relationship where you feel emasculated, right? Men want to feel that they are in control. So what kind of women do you choose in order for you to feel that you know what you're doing, you can lead the relationship, and you know where you're going? So stay tuned for the second part where I'm going to unpack a lot of things, including the mistakes that generally men and women make when it comes to dating. If you want to have more of your relationship or dating questions answered, you can contact me at datehighflyers.com or email me at info@datehighflyers.com. So stay tuned for my next episode on Spotify as well as on YouTube. Look me up, Diary of a Matchmaker.